We continue our discussion with the appointment of the SABC Board by President Jacob Zuma yesterday. And in studio with me, we've got Kate Skinner. She's an independent broadcasting researcher, and Advocate Dali Mpofu, who, of course, is from the EFF. He's the National Chairperson there and former CEO of the SABC. Let's talk about, and I know you're very excited about this, Kate, because this was the first thing you pointed out before we even spoke about the board. It was the court ordering yesterday that the communication minister can now in no way undermine the SABC board and Parliament by hiring and firing executives. I mean, this is big.
It's huge. And I mean, I have to say that it was basically SOS Support Public Broadcasting Coalition, MMA, FXI, supported by R2K, all putting this forward, saying, if we look at the SABC and we look at the instability of the SABC over so many years, one of the biggest issues is around the executives and the interference of the minister around the appointment of the executives. And what the judge when he handed down his judgment yesterday, and he basically said, from now onwards, the minister has no say over the appointment of those top three executives, the CEO, the CFO, the COO. The minister also has no say over disciplining those top three. The minister has, in terms of the issue of acting executives, has no say in terms of that. The minister also doesn't have a say in terms of the firing of those executives. It's the Broadcasting Act that actually talks about what should happen there. And so what it's done is it's really safeguards public broadcasting, because we want a public broadcaster, which means that you need the minister to have an arm's length from the board. And it's now empowered this new board to really play a significant role. And that's very, very important. It's a landmark victory. Good,
because we do need something like that. And I mean, let's go back to your time, Dali. You were here in 2007, and I mean, when we were chatting earlier, you were saying that the last board to complete its term, its full term, was when you were there.
Absolutely.
In 2007. That's 10 years ago. We haven't had a board that has actually finished its term.
No, we haven't. Preparing for this interview, I did an unscientific exercise and actually found that in that 10 years, we've had something like 11 CEOs. We've had 7 or 8 boards and 7 ministers. Wow. I mean, that's a recipe for complete instability. And one of the issues that has dogged the organization is exactly that issue, even from my time. The question of where does the power lie of disciplining so-and-so? And one of the key issues in the court case around my departure here was exactly that point. Did I have the power to suspend an executive? Did the board have the power to suspend me? And did the minister have the final say, or what? So the fact that it has now been clarified 10 years later, hopefully is hope for the future. And hopefully this board, with all its faults, will emulate the Eddie Funde board, which was the last board, really, that finished its term here in December 2007.
Amazing. What do you think is the first duty of this new board? What do you think that they need to do? Obviously, we need appointments of executives very quickly. Is that the priority, or is there a lot more?
Yeah, that's very key. I mean, literally, we've just spoken about the board. The last time there was a permanent COO here was Solimu Kwetle, who also finished in 2007. So for 10 years, you haven't had a chief operating officer, and you've had this string of a dozen CEOs and acting CEOs. Clearly, I mean, no institution can survive that.
Yeah. For you, Kate?
I would agree. I mean, I would say that absolutely the appointment of those executives, but I think then the second thing is the finances, because it is not a going concern. The SABC is not a going concern, and we've got to look at, issues of bailouts. Is it a bailout, or is it a government guarantee? Those discussions with National Treasury, and also we're looking at large sums of money. I mean, 3 billion was the amount of money that people have been talking about. So those, I think, financial issues are also absolutely critical.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not. It can be a coincidence that as we talk about the relative stability towards 2007, again, that was the last time where we had 4 years of positive financial results because of the stability. Since the instability, this simply has just been all the wheels were completely off. Yeah.
Well, let's hope that this is the turning point in the SABC's history, and most importantly,
I think
winning.
there's also a third issue. If I can jump in,
go for it. Yeah.
So I think the third issue is just the editorial policies. So again, I think that the interim board did an incredibly good, played a very good role in terms of starting that process again. It had been very problematic under Mr. Motsoneng, and it's now absolutely crucial that is clarified, because again, this is a political moment that is so important, and the editorial policies talk about independence, ensuring a diversity of views, and that process needs to be concluded so journalists are 100% clear that what they're trying to do is to ensure that citizens get the information that they need in order to take decisions, and that's got to be a diversity of views.
Excellent. And also, I did say, let's wrap this up, but the 12th board member, Nomvuyisa Baiki, withdrawing, is that not a problem? And is that somebody that can just be called into that?
But that person will simply be replaced through the ordinary parliamentary process whenever there's a resignation or a death or something like that. That's what would happen there.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you so very, very much for talking to us. Dali Mpofu from the EFF, and Kate Skinner as well, Save SABC, and also an independent broadcasting researcher. Really appreciate your time. Let's take a break. We'll have your news at 8 after this. Stay tuned.